Hey guys, my name is Jim, this is Jesse, and today we'll be presenting Rio de Janeiro's 2015 Sustainable Development Plan. I'm just start off by going through a little bit of our agenda today, so we will introduce our city along with the reason why we have the proposed design, along with the existing plans that are being undertaken by this city of Rio. This is followed by 2050 vision, which is justified by the infrastructure design, including building, transportation, energy, water, and wastewater sectors, along with the land use and neighborhood design, which is a broader perspective. Then, as you may know, our design will then evaluate our design based on GHG emission comparison, urban metabolism comparison, and sustainable development goals, which is imposed by the United Nations. Now, as you may probably know, in 2016, Rio de Janeiro has hosted the Olympic Games, which has drawn global attention to the city that is located in Brazil, South America. And this, however, has been the tremendous GDP in the economic sense by giving them economic benefits in this developing country. And while the world is witnessing its gorgeous beaches and everything else, this might also shine some deeper aspect that is quite hidden, which is the favelas and the informal development, where even the governments don't really care about them that much. And on top of the inequalities that are being that are a problem as well, there is also, we're seeing that a great increase in populations where it causes several environmental problems, including GHG emissions and deforestation. And as we are projected in 2015, 14.3 million of people will be living in Rio de Janeiro, which is almost more than doubling the current population that we have right now, imposing greater environmental problems like I mentioned previously. Now let's go through a little bit about existing plans that are being undertaken. First one, for city growth, there are going to be two big rehabilitation projects, one involving the Portland, so for that incorporates the urban residential and commercial areas, and also preserving the natural heritage, along with favela rehabilitation through the pacification. In terms of transportation, there is an initiative for expanding the current bus rapid transit or BRT system, as you can see right here, and so providing a greater connectivity citywide and also offering a lower cost and more affordable way of public transit, along with Law 12859, which is to provide incentives for discounts on vehicle tax when they're running for biofuel. In terms of buildings and services, by service I mean essential services such as water, wastewater, and solid waste collections. There is this initiative for My House, My Life, where it's proposed solar water heating for new buildings, especially in favelas, and also pack sanitation, which includes waste collection, along with eradicating illegal dumping of solid waste. And lastly, for GHG emissions, there are this initiative that has been brought by the Municipal Climate Change and Sustainable Development, where 8% GHG reduction is being achieved in 2012. 2012 has passed. We have seen an actual increase in the GHG emissions, which doubts the effectiveness of this plan, along with 10-year energy expansion plan, which is to sign an agreement with renewable energy source and developers. Now it's our turn. We're going to talk a little bit more about our vision for 2015. Vision one is to integrate net zero buildings. This is being inspired by Hawaii's first net zero building, which received LEED Platinum. And the second one is independent renewable energy sources, inspired by 100% Brazil, where it's transferring all energy supply system to renewable. We're using this as the inspiration, but we do have our own renewable energy planning. Third one is full public transit coverage and mobility, as inspired by car-free city, a concept in Chengdu, China. And last one is to complete waste collection and treatment. So in order to justify our vision, we have infrastructure designs. And the first one is the building design. We have proposed both retrofitting and new buildings for both favelas and urban formal developments. They're mostly kind of similar, although there are some differences for retrofitting and new buildings in terms of appliances, which I will dig in more detail. So we're going to start from top to bottom. Now, in terms of roofing, formal developments will be having a ventilated building integrated photovoltaic systems, or BIPV, which will achieve 70% electricity supply. Those formal developments are often composed of high-rises, so that's where the 70% is. And informal development, which are almost low to mid-rises, will also have BIPV systems that supplies 100% of electricity for uses, along with lightweight green roof. In terms of wall, formal development will have green walls on the sides, along with informal development, which will have permanent blinds on doors and concrete vents, along with our 11 insulated exterior walls. In terms of lighting, informal development will have external lighting shelves, which is adjustable, customized double glazed window with adjustable blinds, and LED lights with sensors such as motion and sound as well. And for informal settlements, we are going to propose solar tube lights. And for controls and appliances, controls in the sense of climate control, as I mentioned a little bit previously, there are some differences with retrofit and new buildings, where the similarity is going to be Nest Learning thermostat is going to be implemented for all of those, because of the fact that even for retrofitting, it's just an easy replacement of your conventional thermostat. However, the difference for let's say for retrofit is simple modular system and using the current appliances, where for new ones, Energy Star appliances with smart control, with timer and smart control, along with electrical car system, charging system will be implemented. We believe that if we plan to retrofit the existing buildings with smart control appliances, one, those appliances function well, we don't really want to generate waste. Two, it's going to be costly as well. Next, we'll dive into transportation plan, where, as I mentioned, for the existing plan, the bus rapid BRT system will be more predominant for the city's public transit. This will be the bird's eye view of a typical BRT system. And what we're proposing, as we identified here, this section, northern section over here, does not have a full connectivity, does not offer full connectivity. Therefore, we're proposing this BRT across this section. In terms of non-motorized travel, which includes biking and walking, in formal development, we will integrate motor and non-motorized transport with the BRT system, along with separation strip. For informal development, expansion for roads in terms of local roads in neighborhoods will be composed of bike and walking only. And this we'll talk more in the neighborhood design. For cars, we propose that in 2050, all cars or personal cars will be composed of electric only. And this several initiatives are being proposed to facilitate this transition, where for electric bylaws, where right now they're proposing vehicle tax incentives for biofuels. Now we're doing it for electric. And special labeling, parking privilege, high occupancy vehicle lane access for green vehicles, along with charging rebates. And so we believe that with the implementation of HOV, along with the connectivity that we're offering for the BRT system, the car ownership will be decreased from 5.1 million to 4.3 million, whereas the total VKT is 94,600 million. In terms of roads and highways, we believe that the current system allows sufficient access to and connectivity for highway and local roads, where there's no further expansion is required due to the fact that we don't want to require deforestation. But we do have some kind of modification for the existing highways by implementing the HOV link. Now, this will finish us off with the infrastructure design by starting with the energy plan.
Okay, thank you, Jan. So for energy sector, we are aiming to achieve 100% renewable electricity supply, and this is going to be achieved by implementing the IPV system, solar microgrid, hydropower supply by the national grid, and offshore wind turbines. So now I'm going to talk into detail by sectors. So for residential sector, for informal houses, Jim has mentioned 90% will be supplied by the IPV system. And for the formal houses, the high-rises, with our goal to reduce 50% electricity consumption, we are going to use the IPV system to cover 70% of the electricity supply. And also we are going to use the solar microgrid. And for the high-rises along the coastal line, we are going to use the offshore wind turbine to supply the electricity. And for the industrial sector, we only focus on building electricity demand, and this strategy will be similar to our high-rises. And for the private transportation sector, we are going to use battery system to at houses we have charging station to supply the electricity, and also the rest will be equally supplied by the solar microgrid and also hydropower. And for the public transit system, about 55% will be supplied by the solar microgrid, and we are going to install the system around all the BRT and subway terminals to supply the electricity, and the rest of the electricity are going to be supplied by hydropower as well as offshore wind turbines. And you may notice there's 10% energy supplied by the diesel fuel. This is because our public transit demand increased by a lot, so that we have to introduce some conventional bi-articular buses to our transportation plan. So now I'm going to talk about the water and wastewater management plan. So for water supply, we are going to ensure full connection to municipal water system, especially for favelas. And also, we are going to meet international drinking water standards. To achieve that, we are going to install conventional water treatment plants around the city. And for wastewater plan, the first one we are going to achieve full collection and treatment. And this is going to be achieved by installing gravity water wastewater system, and this uses real geographic features. And also, we are going to reduce wastewater discharge, and this is going to be achieved by installing greenhouse reuse system for each household. And also, since the current system is combined system, therefore we are going to upgrade the current combined system to separate system in order to separate the sewer and also the stormwater discharge. So for stormwater, other than the separated system, we are also going to do full collection and filtration. And in order to reduce peak demand during heavy rainfalls, we are going to introduce this rainwater harvesting for all the low-rise and mid-rise buildings. So in terms of solid waste management, the first thing we are going to achieve full collection. And especially for favelas, we are going to use our own innovation design. So this is a normal garbage cart, but this is our design. So normally it only has one opening, but by doing this, we allow the residents in the household to separate their garbage to garbage, organic, and recycling. And then they can push their cart to the garbage bin, the larger scale one. And also, we are going to reduce landfill of solid waste by 50%. This is going to achieve by 25% of organic waste reuse, and also 25% of recycling. And for the recycling, we are going to introduce automatic sorting system at the treatment plant, but also push the public education. And then after you know about our infrastructure design, now I'm going to talk about the land use and neighborhood design. So for land use, we are going to follow the definition of a good city introduced by Kevin Lynch. His definition is open, accessible, decentralized, diverse, adaptable, and tolerant to experiment. And this is going to be achieved by 5 principles. So the first principle is to increase the open spaces, and this is going to achieve by setting a canopy coverage goal at 40%. And also the second one is to encourage mixed land use, especially for the favelas. And also we are going to improve connectivity by doing our transportation plan, and also provide sufficient infrastructure. And the last one is to protect the cultural value of Rio. Especially we are going to protect favelas, since favelas have become tourism attractions in recent years. So this is a table with our land use distributions. So in order to accommodate the great growth of population, we are going to increase the urbanized area. But in order to meet our 40% canopy coverage, we are going to install green roofs on the low and mid-rise buildings. So for neighborhood design for informal areas, in order to achieve our waste collection management plan, we are going to have 2 types of roads. The first one called collector road, and it will be about 12 meters, and it will allow cars, trucks, but also bikes and pedestrians to travel. And for the local roads, it will be widened to 4 meters. This will allow bikes and pedestrians to travel. And the green space coverage will be about 20%, and our stormwater management plan will be achieved by underground water channels. And for the former area, we have to have the road as well. So for the collector road, it will be about 30 meters wide. And actually on the cross section in the middle will be the BRT, and it can be also traveled by cars, bikes, and pedestrians. And also our green space coverage goal is 40%, and it will be contributed by local parks and also the trees on the sidewalk. So after you know about our infrastructure design and also land use neighborhood design, now I'm going to talk about our results in terms of greenhouse gas emission reduction. So actually on the graph here, you can see there's in general dramatic decrease from 2015 business as usual case. And this is achieved by zero emissions from residential industrial areas. But I have to mention again, it's about electricity demand. And for per capita, you will notice there will be a decrease for each sector other than the other sectors, which is not included in our project. And as shown on the graph here, you will notice there will be a 55% of reduction from the business as usual case. And also we can achieve a 3.43% of reduction from the 2012 greenhouse gas emissions. So in terms of the urban metabolism, we are trying to achieve closed loop material flow. Due to time constraint, I'm only going to show some of the features. Okay, the first one is we are going to reduce the fuel usage by only use diesel oil for the buses I mentioned before. And also the electricity demand will be hugely increased. But this allows us to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by a lot. So for the Sustainable Development Goals, as you know already, we have a strong focus on surveillance. So this allows us to achieve most of the goals, and we are confident we can achieve most of the 10 goals. And here, this perfectly concluded our presentation because, well, we are trying to increase the environmental sustainability for the city of Rio. We also help the city to improve their social and economic sustainability. Therefore, James and I hope our 2050 plan can help the city to better serve its people by developing neighborhoods with healthy, vibrant, and safe miners. So here's, thank you very much for listening, and right now we open the floor for questions.